Hello everyone, Speedrunner 0-18 here, and welcome back to the Pokemon Speedrun Analysis. In the last video, we did a first-time blind playthrough with Cloyster and Pokemon Leafgreen versus Steve M Plays who played Pokemon Blue, and we both did a Slowbro race on his channel. Today though, we'll be seeing which of those two Pokemon can beat Pokemon Leafgreen the fastest after intense routing and grinding. The race between some of Lorelei's team members. Let's get into this. Let's start with Cloyster as we arrive at Rival 1. We start with the moves Withdraw, Supersonic, Aurora Beam, and Protect. Our only attacking move, Aurora Beam, is a 60 base power ice move that has a chance at lowering the opponent's attack. Not a bad move, but it's all we got to take Charmander down, which resists ice moves. Unlike Gen 1, fire types actually resist ice, but we still win the fight first try. While we're doing the Oak Parcel crap, let's discuss Cloyster. Cloyster is the final evolution to Shelder, and is often known for having absurdly high defense. And while you may think that Cloyster is very bulky, but look at its HP and special defense, a base 50 and 45 respectively. Low HP but high defense and a low special defense doesn't sound very bulky to me. Since Cloyster is a stone evolution, it gets almost no level up moves. The only ones it gets besides its starting set is Spikes and Spike Cannon. Yeah, Spikes. These moves are going to be quite useless. Spikes is a battlefield hazard, while great in competitive is terrible in casual Pokemon, and Spike Cannon is a weak multi-strike move, like Fury Swipes. If Cloyster had access to the ability Skill Link though in this game, where all multi-strike moves like Icicle Sphere and Spike Cannon will hit 5 times, then maybe I'd consider it, but that ability wasn't introduced until Gen 4, so we only have the ability it has, Shell Armor, which prevents critical hits, which is still pretty good. I also went with a female Pokemon for both of these to prevent Attract Luck from enemy Clefairy or Lorelei's Jinx. Via TMs though, we get access to the standard water moves and ice moves Cloyster would get, like Water Pulse, Ice Beam, Blizzard, and Return, and that's about it. Very little coverage. That's not too good, but let's not give up hope yet. Let's keep going. After delivering the parcel and struggling to catch a Pidgey and Rattata since Cloyster keeps one-hit KOing everything it runs into, I go straight into Viridian Forest. There are 5 bug catchers here I can defeat for training, but since Cloyster starts with an ice move to deal super effective damage against Brock, I only fight the required bug catcher Sammy at the end, and then I go to the gym. I defeat the Light Years trainer for the easy experience, which I usually do if I skip the bug catchers to avoid falling behind level curves, since Slowbro is in the slow level up group. Now for Brock. Cloyster is weak to Onix's Rock Tomb, but due to Cloyster's base 180 defense stat, it doesn't have to worry about that even if Onix uses it, which it doesn't. And Cloyster gets a Brock split of 5 minutes and 5 seconds. Not a bad Brock split at all. Let's go check in with Slowbro to see how it fares against Brock. Slowbro has a starting moveset for Rival 1 of Curse, Yawn, Tackle, and Growl, so nothing super effective against Brock's team at the start, so I can definitely say grinding will be needed. Curse is actually a pretty good move. In exchange for your speed going down one stage, your attack and defense is increased by 50% of its original value, which is a great trade-off since Slowbro is already so damn slow. But let's discuss Slowbro now. Its base stats are more evenly spread out in a better way in my opinion. It gets 95 HP, 110 defense, and 80 special defense. So Slowbro is definitely way more bulky, especially against special moves. It also benefited from the special split in Gen 2. While Cloyster's original 85 special was kept in its special attack and it lost a lot of special defense, Slowbro's 80 special in Gen 1 was moved to its special defense and it gets a special attack of 100. So compared to Gen 1, it has the same bulk but can hit harder, so it definitely got upgraded. Plus, it also has the better moveset. Via level up, it gets Curse, Water Gun, Confusion, Headbutt, Amnesia, Withdraw, and Psychic as great moves. Amnesia and Withdraw won't be too useful since no badge boost glitch is in the game, and Slowbro is already super bulky. Having water and psychic moves early on though with our buffed up special attack is going to spell disaster for the NPCs of Kanto. Via TM, we do get some good options. We get Water Pulse, Calm Mind, which we'll be taking full advantage of, Ice Beam, Blizzard, Earthquake, Return, Dig, Shadow Ball, Brick Break, and Flamethrower. How the f does this thing learn Flamethrower? Anyway, some of these moves will give us a great type coverage against our weaknesses. With all that out of the way, let's resume on with Slowbro. In the Viridian Forest, since we don't get Water Gun until level 13, I fight every bug catcher in the forest, which is not easy since these Weedle love to poison my Slowbro with Poison Sting. And without items in battles and Pecha Berries at this point, I do have to reset once or twice. If I had a good move against them, like Flamethrower, I'd be fine, so saving before the 3 bug catchers with Weedle is necessary. After defeating the bug catchers in the forest, I heal at the Pewter City Pokemon Center and grind on wild Pokemon to get to level 13. I could have technically fought Rival 1A, but I felt it was too much backtracking, plus Pidgey will outspeed me and use Sand Attack and mess me up, and it didn't feel worth it. Also, leveling up takes a while since Slowbro's in the medium fast experience group, which is slow in the early game but fast in the late game. Not good for the early grinding, but it is what it is. Once I get to level 13 and learn Water Gun, I head to the Pewter City Gym. I defeat the Light Years trainer right away for the very quick experience, and then defeat Brock with absolute ease and get a time of 14 minutes and 58 seconds. Looking at their times, Slowbro is 9 minutes and 53 seconds behind Cloyster due to all the training. But can Slowbro catch up? Or can Slowbro gain a bigger lead? Or will Cloyster remain in the lead? Let's take a look at Cloyster during the early game. After defeating Brock, I heal at the center and go to the mart. I sell the TM for Rock Tomb and I buy 3 antidotes, 3 paralyze heals, 4 repels, and 10 potions. And since I really do not want Cloyster to fall behind due to being in the slow level up group, I defeated every trainer on Route 3. Since Cloyster is a lot stronger though, it's more viable to fight these trainers than the bug catchers in Viridian Forest. I do actually skip the Jigglypuff last in the grass, since Sing RNG can really mess me up. I still haven't recovered from the Porygon race, which was the very first episode of the Speedrun Analysis series if you want to see it. Or just go see Scott's Thoughts videos on it on his channel. When I enter Route 4, I get the Person Berry to help with Misty, heal at the center since I still only have 1 attacking move, and I enter Mount Moon. I am still defeating optional trainers at this point. I only defeat the second bug catchers on the first floor, get the rare candy, and then defeat the last with an Oddish and Bellsprout here, as well as the hiker near the ladder to the basement first floor, plus the first rocket grunt you see on the B second floor. The training after Brock gets to Cloyster to level 16 before going to the mandatory Rocket and Super Nerd. Being at a higher level here allows Cloyster to deal out more damage, especially against the Super Nerd who can set up poison, and his Pokemon, except Voltorb, are quite defensive, so these levels were needed. With Mount Moon out of the way, we arrive at Cerulean City. We can either fight Rival 2 or Misty, and there's no way I'm facing Misty with only Aurora Beam. So I heal at the center, get the rare candy, and battle Rival 2. On Rival 2, Pidgeotto survives on a sliver of health from an Aurora Beam, and it gets off a Sand Attack. But luckily I still knock it out. And then on Charmander, it is a 4-hit with Aurora Beam, and I barely survive all of its embers. This is another reason the levels were needed. It was just a miracle that against his good team members I missed no Aurora Beams, so that was super lucky. Now for the Route 24-25 Gauntlet of Trainers. To be honest with you, these trainers were rarely ever difficult. I just talk about this segment in case I fight optional trainers or pick up some items here. In which case, I do get some extra items. I get the hidden Pecha Berry and the Elixir. I use the Elixir right away to restore Aurora Beam's power points to avoid backtracking to the Pokemon Center, and I defeat the Elixir Hiker, and the rest of the required trainers with ease. Although I do fight Hiker Knob, who has 3 Geodude and a Machop, so I can fight the Camper trainer and make him step down, giving me access to the TM for Secret Power, a 70 base power normal move. This move will be the key to defeating Misty. I teach it to Cloyster over Supersonic, and then get the Ether, rescue Bill, and then go back to Cerulean City and defeat the innocent bystander with secret power. Now it's time to fight Misty. I have the Personberry equipped for this fight as usual, and then spam secret power. Staryu tries to use recover, but does nothing too deadly. Starmie spams water pulse on me since that move will do the most damage, even though I resist water moves, and I don't get confused, and I defeat Misty on the first try with the Personberry still equipped. With the Cascade badge, I go down to Route 6, get the Citrus Berry and Rare Candy, defeat Camper Jeff with secret power, and then board the SS Anne. I take the heal bed to restore power points, and then I go to the bottom floor and begin grinding on everyone on the SS Anne. This is Cloyster's biggest disadvantage besides its terrible move pool and bad special defense. It has to fight way more trainers to keep up with the level curve against everyone in the game. These kind of Pokemon just feel terrible to play with. While battling everyone on the SS Anne, I do get the TM for rest, which I didn't even need. I don't even know why I grabbed it. I guess I did it just in case I needed it for the second round. Maybe. Since when the ship leaves, I cannot get TMs back if they're gone. So from now on, I may just get this move every time. You'll understand why when the next video after this, Meryl, comes out. The first of many old 386 redos I'll be redoing. After everyone on the ship is defeated, I battle Rival 3. I now have Water Pulse taught over Withdraw. I have an easy way to take down the rival's Charmeleon, plus with an Ice move and a Normal type move, I get past this fight very easily. I then get cut, use the heal bed again, leave the ship, buy some super potions and repels, teach Cut and Dig to Rattata, and I enter the Vermilion City Gym. I defeat Gentleman Tucker with Aurora Beam, then I equip the Cherry Berry I got from the SS Anne and battle Lieutenant Surge. Voltorb goes down in one Water Pulse, as does Pikachu. Raichu then comes out. I outspeed it by 7 points due to all the training I had to do, and Water Pulse does half damage. Then Raichu gets confused and hits itself. I use Water Pulse again, and Lieutenant Surge uses a full heal to get rid of confusion. But it doesn't matter as I defeat Lieutenant Surge as a Water-type Pokemon for a time of 26 minutes and 43 seconds. That is an impressive Surge fight. If I hadn't done that SS Anne training, either Raichu would outspeed me or Water Pulse would be a 3-hit. Let's see how Slowbro does in this point of the game. After defeating Brock, I go straight to the mart to buy my usual antidotes, paralyze heals, repels, and potions. I don't even heal at the center since Slowbro has excellent PP. Plus I healed after I finished the Viridian Forest grind. In Route 3, since Slowbro already has a great attacking move and is leveling up faster than Cloyster, I only fight the 3 mandatory bug catchers on this route. I chose to fight the second bug catcher over the last with 2 Nidoran, since I don't want Slowbro to fall behind on experience either. In Gen 3, being behind on your level is extremely bad due to the increased difficulty of these games. I then heal at the Route 4 center and go into Mount Moon, where I only grab the rare candy and do no extra trainer fights. You may have noticed I didn't pick up the Personberry. That is because of Slowbro's ability, Own Tempo, which prevents confusion. The ability will be super helpful, especially against the Zubats the Rockets use, or even Agatha's Pokemon or just anything with Confuse Ray in general. On the Rocket Grunt and Super Nerd, I just spam Water Gun since I not only get stabbed from it, my special attack is my highest stat. I do get poisoned very quickly unfortunately, and in Gen 3, even if you defeat a Pokemon, you can still get poison damage to build up. But at least during the fight, I learned the move Confusion, which is going to devastate the early to mid game. Outside of Mount Moon, I use the move tutor to teach Mega Punch to Slowbro over Tackle. I still need a physical move at this point, especially for the rival's Kadabra on the SS Anne, and Tackle is way too weak, so I get Mega Punch to deal the extra damage. Speaking of Rival 2, I choose to face him over Misty for similar reasons as Cloyster. With the moves Water Gun and Confusion, Slowbro did not struggle on Charmander at all, unlike Cloyster who had to spam Aurora Beam. And with Charmander out of the way, everything else is a simple breeze and not worth mentioning. The Route 24 and 25 trainers were also very easy for Slowbro. I didn't have to use the Elixir here just because of Slowbro having 3 attacking moves and not 1. I still pick up the Pecha Berry and Elixir here like I always do. And then I rescue Bill and defeat the Bystander with great sheer power. Now for Misty. No Person Berry thanks to own tempo. On this fight, I just spam Mega Punch. I didn't bother setting up Curse since I didn't find it necessary, but I guess it would have helped prevent Starmie from getting into a potion range, but oh well. After getting the Route 6 Citrus Berry and Rare Candy, I defeat Camper Jeff with Water Pulse, which I had taught over Water Gun, and then I go to the Mart to buy some Super Potions and Repels. I do the Mart trip before the SS Sand because I was running low on potions. When I board the SS Sand, I get the Trash Can Hyper Potion in the basement, and then I get the TM for Rest. But unlike Cloyster, I will actually be using this move much later for the main run. Since Slowbro is super bulky, Rest is a great fit for it, especially since it is very slow, bulky, and lazy. On Rival 3, Water Pulse 2 hits Pidgeotto, but I still miss a few moves due to Sand Attack. But I luckily land a Mega Punch on Kadabra, which uses Disable, but it gets Water Pulse, so I have to use Confusion on Charmeleon. But I still win the fight first try, but barely. This could have easily gone wrong. With Cut obtained, I enter the Vermilion City Gym, defeat Tucker with Water Pulse, equip a Cherry Berry since own tempo does not prevent paralysis, that is Limber. I battle Lieutenant Surge. I don't think Slowbro is going to get the luck Cloyster had, especially since Slowbro is not going to outspeed anything on his team. Voltorb goes for Screech, which is quite useless, and I take it out with Water Pulse. Pikachu goes for Thunder Wave, but my Cherry Berry saves the day, and I defeat it with Water Pulse. Now the Raichu. It goes for Double Team, but Water Pulse lands and even confuses, so both Pokemon in this race get a confuse on Raichu, which is quite hilarious. Surge goes for a full heal to get rid of the confusion, and I land the second Water Pulse, and Slowbro gets a Surge split of 29 minutes and 6 seconds. Cloyster is still in the lead, but only by 2 minutes and 23 seconds. Slowbro has gained around 7 minutes since Brock and is catching up fast. This race is going to be quite interesting. According to my YouTube poll, most of you thought Slowbro will win. I was surprised since the word slow is literally in the name. Oh well, it's time for the mid-game. Let's go back to Cloyster and see how it does. I get the bike voucher and run back to Cerulean City since, no, you cannot dig from the house to Cerulean. That is not how dig works anymore. When I get back to Cerulean City, I heal at the center, get the bike, and battle the Route 9 Rock Tunnel Gauntlet. Picnicker Elisa, aka the Rapping Lass, didn't stand a chance against Cloyster's Aurora Beam. Before Rock Tunnel, I get the Chesto Berry, Rare Candy, and the Cherry Berry all located here. I also heal at the center since in my original route, I do get the TM for Protect from the power plant for one of the League members, but that ended up not being necessary, so that heal was just a waste of time. I just forgot to take it out of my notes. On the first Pokemaniac with a Cubone and a Slowpoke, the Cubone was a joke, but Slowpoke took quite a few hits from Secret Power to defeat. That usually happens with water and ice types in this game, who don't get enough coverage. The rest of the trainers were quite easy in this gauntlet since they all have weak grass, flying, or rock moves, so let's skip to Celadon City, where I heal at the center and enter the game corner and into the Rocket Hideout. While in here, I get the usual Max Ether, Lift Key, Rare Candy, and the Calcium. I use the Calcium on Cloyster to give it 10 extra special attack EVs, which will help it gain an extra 2 points in its stat, since every 4 EVs is 1 stat. The Rockets guarding the gate to Giovanni's office are a joke as usual, so let's see how the boss of Team Rocket goes. Onyx and Rhyhorn were both straightforward by using Water Pulse, And on Kangaskhan, due to my very high defense stat and Kangaskhan's only special move is Bite, it doesn't serve much of a threat, and Giovanni is defeated the first try. You know, despite all the grinding it had to do, I'm quite impressed by the Cloyster, but I wonder how long this feeling will last. Only time will tell. With the Silph Scope obtained in hand, I get the tea for the Saffron Guard and then go shopping. I buy my usual super repels, and on the 5th floor, today's vitamin of the day is a calcium. We'll be relying on tons of special moves more than physical moves, so this was more important to me. Also for a nature, I forgot to mention this till now, I went with a mild nature, which is plus special attack and minus defense. This was literally the best nature for a Cloyster to have, due to its absurdly high defense stat. I then get the HM for Fly to help us traverse the region in fast time, teach it to Pidgey, and then go battle Rival 4 in Pokemon Tower. Normally, Rival 4 is the easiest in the entire game, but sometimes the Gyarados and Execute can put up a fight. I go into the fight without healing like an idiot, but it doesn't even matter since Cloyster's defense is so high, Thrash does basically nothing to me, and I win the fight first try. In Pokemon Tower, I get the Elixir, take the Heal Pad, spam Aurora Beam on the channelers I have to face, and then get the rare candy. I also send the Marowak to hell by drowning it with Water Pulse, and rescue Mr. Fuji from Team Rocket and Marowak's grasps and obtain the Poke Flute with a split time of 39 minutes and 25 seconds. Cloyster played really well in this section of the game, so let's see how Slowbro does here. After defeating Surge, I get the Bike Voucher, get the Bike, don't heal at any Pokemon Center, and do the Route 9 Gauntlet. The Rapping Lass's team can't outspeed Slowbro at all, which is quite hilarious, and I take her team down with confusion. Outside Rock Tunnel, I pick up the rare candy and the Cherry Berry. I skip the Chesto Berry, although I probably should have picked it up so I can use the Resto Chesto strat of holding a Chesto Berry and using Rest. Oh well, I can always come back and get it if I need to. The Pokemaniac with the Slowpoke had to be taken down with Mega Punch spamming, which takes 4 hits, plus it has a chance to miss. Also, during the Rock Tunnel Gauntlet, I learned Headbutt over Mega Punch. Headbutt is a 70 base power normal move with a chance to flinch. With Slowbro's speed, it ain't gonna be flinching nothing, but 100% accuracy is something I'll take. Other than them, the only Pokemon that could even outspeed me posed no threat to Slowbro at all. So let's also skip ahead to Celadon City. I heal at the center just like I did with Cloyster and enter the Rocket Hideout. I grab the Max Ether, Lift Key, Rare Candy, and Calcium with Slowbro again. Defeat the Rocket Grunts here with ease, and then battle Giovanni. His Onix and Rhyhorn are trivial with Water Pulse like before, and on Kangaskhan, although my defense stat isn't as absurd as Cloyster, Slowbro has its HP in the triple digits at this point, so even if it uses a super effective bite, it won't do much damage to me. I obtain the Silph Scope, get the tea, and go shopping. I get my super repels and go to the 5th floor to pick up today's vitamin of the day for Slowbro, which is 2 protein. I'll still be relying on a bunch of physical moves since Slowbro has decent attack, and I'll be using Calm Mind later to boost my special stats, so calcium is kinda unneeded. I now obtain Fly and battle Rival 4. I take out his Pidgeotto with a crit Water Pulse and get to level 33 for Gyarados over a damage rounding threshold, but it doesn't matter as I set up Curse on it. I unfortunately get a Hypnosis from the Execute and I get my second reset. The first one was in Viridian Forest on a random Weedle. On the next attempt though, Execute misses Hypnosis and I'm able to take down everything else with ease. This fight was definitely easier with Cloyster. I should have had a Chesto Berry equipped, but yet again, oh well, I'm only human. I can make mistakes too, you know. After sending the Marowak to hell yet again with Water Pulse, I rescue Mr. Fuji from her constraints and get the Poke Flute as a reward for a time of 43 minutes and 1 second. Cloyster is in the lead by 3 minutes and 36 seconds, so it gained more of a lead against Slowbro. mostly due to Slowbro's 1 reset on Rival 4. Besides that, their mid-game was quite similar. Now it's time for the part of the game where I fly from place to place and take out gym leaders, and rescue Silphco too. Let's go back to Cloyster and see how it handles the gym leader grind part of the race. After I get the Poke Flute, I get the TM for return right away since Cloyster needs this move for a base 102 power normal move after Friendship is maxed out all the way, which is usually near the max at this point anyway. I fly back to Celadon City, chase off the Snorlax, and enter Cycling Road. You know, avoiding the bikers is quite difficult since they are a group of 6 spinners. While here though, I get the usual rare candy and max elixir, struggle to get through the gate, and enter Fuchsia City. In the Safari Zone, I get the standard Full Restore, Protein, Gold Teeth, and Surf. I teach Surf to Cloyster since it will get stabbed from it, giving Surf an effective 142 base power, so for water types it's worth teaching this HM move. I then head to Route 15 east of Fuchsia City to get the TM for Rain Dance. This move will boost water moves by 50%. We don't need it now, but when we do, it'll be the difference between life and death. Or just a reset. The first place on the Cloyster itinerary is Silphco. I head to the 5th floor, get the PP up, battle the scientists near the gate to the Protein with Surf, defeat the Rocket with the Arbok, who is optional in this game, but I just need a tiny bit of extra experience. I then get the card key and go through the entire building getting every vitamin and TM and nugget I can get, since I'll be selling most of them to get the TM for Ice Beam at the game corner. Cloyster needs a good stab ice move, and Blizzard is way too inaccurate and it doesn't have enough power points. So I think spending the 4 minutes to fight 2 optional Rocket Grunts to get all of the good items to sell will be worth it. I won't go over where they all are, since I did that in my Swine Up video, and editing that part took forever. Once I get all the valuable TMs and vitamins in Silphco, I use 2 Carbos and 2 Calcium on Cloyster, and the rest will be sold. I also teach Rain Dance over Protect. This Rival 5 will be the first fight Rain Dance is needed. Let's see how this fight goes. Rival 5's first Pokemon is Pidgeot. Aurora Beam does 3/4 HP, and Pidgeot does a wing attack that only does 14 damage, and I knock it out on the second turn. The Execute goes down in 1 hit with an Aurora Beam, and I make it to Alakazam, and I discovered a huge flaw with my route. I'm close to level 38, not only the next damage rounding threshold, but I'm also 1 speed lower than Alakazam. So it is able to get off a Future Sight attack for the future, and I take it out with 2 returns. On Gyarados, my best answer for this Pokemon is to spam Return, despite my lowered attack with Intimidate. Gyarados uses Dragon Rage, and then inactivates my Citrus Berry, which I had saved for this fight. And then finally, Future Sight deals so much damage, and I'm left at 24 hit points. And then Gyarados defeats me with Dragon Rage. If I outspeed Alakazam, it would only have 1 chance to attack me, and it could easily use Calm Mind instead. On the next attempt, without any extra grinding, Alakazam uses a Future Sight yet again, and I have to hope for better luck against the Gyarados. I set up Rain Dance right away, and Future Sight fails since it's only 80% accurate, and it's only 80 base power in this game too. And then I KO Gyarados on 1 hit point left, but using Rain Dance this early allows Charizard to enter the field as the Rain Dance wears off. I needed the Rain Dance so Charizard's a 1 hit, but I go for Surf anyway, hoping for a crit, but that doesn't happen and Cloyster gets its second reset. Before trying again, I defeat a single Rocket Grunt near the rival and get to level 38 and get my speed to 94, so I can outspeed Alakazam and try again. But I actually lose to this random Rocket Grunt, which is just f***ing embarrassing. When I finally get back to Rival 5 at level 38, I outspeed Alakazam, and on its 1 turn to attack, it unluckily goes for the Future Sight. but it doesn't matter as Gyarados defeats me again. This fight, even if I outspeed Alakazam, is one of the most luck-dependent fights in the entire run, and this is unavoidable too. On the next attempt, luckily, Alakazam just uses Calm Mind, and I defeat the Gyarados without losing too much HP, set up the Rain Dance not too early this time, and with the rain still up, I use Surf on Charizard for the one hit. That fight was quite unlucky overall, but at least we're both past it. I then get the Lapras as a strength user, defeat the Rocket Grunt with ease, and I battle Giovanni number 2. I use a Rain Dance on Nidorino and spam Surf. With Rain Dance, Surf has an effective power of 213, which is extremely powerful. Plus fire types will do half damage, but Thunder will always hit. But I can't learn Thunder, so that's not important. With the rain up though, I defeat the rest of Giovanni's team, and then refresh my HTML overlay causing a white flash, and I dig out causing massive property damage. Now, I fly back to Celadon City. I came back here to get the coin case on my way to Erica's gym. I don't do any extra grinding here since that'll be a waste of time, and I battle Erica right away. I don't have the Ice Beam TM yet, but it isn't necessary as in combination with my high level, Aurora Beam will be enough for the one-hit sweep. With Erica defeated, I go to the department store and sell all the vitamins, nuggets, and all the valuable TMs I have that Cloyster doesn't need. And I get the 80,000 Pokedollars to purchase 4,000 coins at the game corner in exchange for Ice Beam. This move is so great to have. I wish Cloyster could learn it by level up, but it can't really learn anything good by level up, so why complain? Next stop for Cloyster is Fuchsia City. I need this to get access to Surf outside of battle and defeat Blaine before Sabrina, since due to Cloyster's very low special defense, I cannot fight Sabrina yet. I defeat the only required juggler, equip the Pecha Berry, and battle Koga. I set up a Rain Dance and Coughing just blows itself up. On Muck, I use Surf to deal 3/4 of its HP, and then the rest of his team is super easy, despite Weezing living on 1 HP due to a bad roll and healing back up. But still, at least I didn't get poisoned twice. After that amazing explosive gym battle, I get Strength, teach it to Lapras, get the Boulder Rare Candy, and Surf to Cinnabar Island. On Cinnabar Mansion, I get the Braden Rare Candy by spamming Surf on his team of a Voltorb, Magnemite, and Magneton, and I get the secret key. I do not need Blizzard in here, nor the Carbos that is on the way in here, so I get those items only and I dig back out. I go to the mart to buy some Max Repel since I was running low on Super Repels, and then I enter Blaine's gym. I don't battle any of the trainers here and just go for Blaine right away. This fight was not hard at all. Rain Dance and a Stab Surf is just downright broken, especially against fire types, giving it a 2x bonus to damage. I do have one reset here since I forgot to heal at the center. Oops, my bad. But the next time I fight him, I easily win. After the gym, I say no to Bill since I don't need anything on the Sevi Islands, and then I go battle the 7th gym leader Sabrina. The plan here is to spam Return. It one-hit KOs Kadabra, but not Mr. Mime, which has decent defense. The Venomoth deals great damage to me, but I defeat it and move on to Alakazam. I outspeed it and use Return, but it lives on a sliver of health. I thought I was screwed, but it goes for Future Sight, and I win for a split of 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 30 seconds. With extra resets under Cloyster's belt, can it maintain the lead going into the endgame? Let's go back to Slowbro and see how it does. Slowbro does not need the TM for Return here, and just goes straight to Cycling Road. I get the usual Rare Candy and Max Elixir here, and in the Safari Zone, I get the same items as before. I also teach Surf to Slowbro over Water Pulse since it just makes sense. Slowbro's first stop during the gym leader spree is Silphco, which is not a gym. You may think this is too early, but I disagree. I want Calm Mind, which I get from Sabrina, as fast as possible to help with the other fights to avoid grinding. So I enter Silphco, do the minimum amount in there, don't bother getting all the vitamins since Slowbro does not need Ice Beam or anything in the game corner. I do get a couple of proteins though to help boost Slowbro's attack stat even further. Before Rival 5 though, I used some rare candies to get to level 38 over 2 damage rounding thresholds from when I started using them, and I refused to learn Amnesia or Withdraw. Those moves will be OP in Gen 1, but not here. Anyway, on Rival 5, I set up one curse on Pidgeot and KO it in 2 hits. On Gyarados, I use Psychic and it lowers its special defense, and I KO it in 2 hits. But then Execute defeats me. That was unlucky, let me try again. I get back to Gyarados, but without setting up a curse since I realized it wasn't necessary. I defeated the Gyarados and I get paralyzed with Stun Spore, but the Cherry Berry I have equipped helps me out, and I defeat the remaining Alakazam and Charizard with it. God damn it! Okay, both of our contenders are really struggling with Rival 5 right now. This is indeed one of the hardest fights in the entire game outside of the Elite Four. I decided to teach Rest earlier than I had routed, since this will help me arrive at the Pokemon later on at green health at least. I teach Rest over Curse since I no longer need it. On Gyarados, I use Rest after dealing half of its HP, and once I wake up, Gyarados flinches me with bites so I can't use Rest and I faint yet again. Fuck! On the next attempt, I use Rest on Execute since the only attack it has is Confusion, and then I wake up and I'm able to take it, Alakazam, and Charizard down without fainting. Alakazam tries to be a pain with Reflect, and Charizard does live a Surf, but I still win the fight. At least it didn't take as many resets as it did Cloyster, so that may help it gain some time. Preceding the liberation of Silphco from Giovanni, I dig out causing tons of vandalism and destruction, and I go to Sabrina's gym. The proteins I've been using have definitely helped contribute to this fight, since most people do not fight Sabrina as their 4th gym leader. But Slowbro really needs Calm Mind, so I have to make do. This fight is nowhere near as difficult as Rival 5 was, and I just spam Headbutt here. I can also use Rest to restore my power points if needed, since Slowbro resists psychic moves. The Venomoth has Leech Life, but it's only an effective 30 base power after stab, so it's quite useless. Alakazam does do decent damage with Psychic, but I live all the hits that get delivered to me, and then Slowbro now gets access to its best move, Calm Mind. It'll raise special attack and special defense by 1 stage. Now, to go on a murder spree. My first victim is Erica. She doesn't even need Calm Mind, as the Psychic TM I got from Saffron City is enough to take out her entire team. Next victim is Koga. With some Calm Mind setup, Psychic will just be absolutely devastating to every one of Koga's Pokemon. Coughing does try to set up Smokescreen, but that isn't enough to stop Slowbro from landing those devastating blows to Koga's team. At the Cinnabar Mansion, I get the Braden Rare Candy and the Secret Key, and dig out to battle Blaine, my 7th gym leader. On Blaine, I set up 3 Calm Minds and spam Surf. Even though I don't outspeed Blaine's Arcanine, the reason I went first against it is because Arcanine was trying to use Roar, which is a negative priority move, kind of like Counter and Mirror Code are, so I got to go first and KO it. Ponyta deals some damage to me and I KO it with Surf. On Rapidash, I use Rest right away, and luckily for me it bounces in the air, giving me a chance to sleep. And once I wake up, I take out Rapidash and get my 7th gym badge with a time of 59 minutes and 55 seconds, just under an hour. For the first time in this race, Slowbro managed to take the lead. You can now see why Slowbro really needed Calm Mind. Slowbro is ahead of Cloyster, but only by 2 minutes and 35 seconds, which was the lead Cloyster had for most of the game anyway except for the Brock split. Will the late game battles starting with Giovanni cause either Pokemon a ton of problems and get further behind? Maybe Slowbro will lose its short-term lead? Only one way to find out. let's do this. Let's see how they both do for Giovanni and Rival 6, starting with Cloyster. Giovanni is very easy in this game due to his team being nerfed from red and blue in some ways, which is quite a statement, such as his Rhydon being replaced with a Rhyhorn. I have no idea why, but since Cloyster outspeeds everything and can OHKO with Ice Beam, Giovanni is just a joke. Now, let's look at Rival 6. He starts off with Pidgeot and it goes down with one Ice Beam, as does Rhyhorn and Execute, also being one-shots. Now for Alakazam, I use Return and then Ice Beam to prevent Disable from messing me up. On Gyarados, I set up Rain Dance to prepare it to OHKO Charizard since Rain Dance is needed yet again, but I get my own end handed to me and I lose, causing yet another reset. On the next attempt, Alakazam puts me at too low of HP and Hydro Pump finishes me off. Man, Cloyster's low special defense is really starting to become a problem. We're now 7 resets in, and then Alakazam used Calm Mind and then Psychic to one-hit KO me. I looked back at my notes and I realized I was supposed to grind with the Versus Seeker first before doing the rival battle. Man, I just keep making a ton of mistakes with Cloyster. I flew to Celadon City to get the Mystic Water from the game corner to boost Surf's damage by 10%. I was going to get it anyway, but I decided now is the time to get it, as well as do my Versus Seeker grinding. Cloyster needs to do this for the Pokemon League, mainly due to being weak to fighting type moves, since if I don't get the extra levels in now, Bruno will just constantly defeat me in routing, so this training is necessary. The best new place I found to train is Fisherman Elliot on Route 12. When you Versus Seeker rematch him while having 8 badges but you're still in the main game, all his team members are level 28, and he'll have 4 Pokemon, a Poliwhirl, Cloyster, Seeking, and a Seadra. These Pokemon are quite easy to take down, and from just one trainer, I earn almost 4,000 experience points, which is way better than any other trainer that is rematchable at this point. Plus, the disadvantage with the bikers is that only 2 of the 6 bikers in that group are even worth fighting, plus they can poison you if you can't take them out in one hit, which most Pokemon can't. So after doing the Elliot grind until level 66 after rare candies, I fly back to Viridian City and battle Rival 6. With the higher level accomplished, everyone on his team was absolutely easy. Even the Alakazam and Gyarados, which were massive problems earlier on, and Cloyster heads for the Pokemon League with a time of 1 hour, 25 minutes, and 45 seconds. For Slowbro, Giovanni didn't need any Calm Minds at all. Spamming Surf is enough to make good work of all of his team members. Man, this guy is a joke in this game. But who isn't usually a joke is Rival 6. Let's see how Slowbro does here. Pidgeot doesn't have Sand Attack in this fight, thank God, so I use this opportunity to set up 4 Calm Minds, use Rest to restore my HP, and when I wake up, Surf delivers the KO. Execute goes down in one hit, despite resisting both Surf and Psychic. On Gyarados, Psychic delivers the hard-hitting special blow, and then Charizard and Alakazam both go down easily. I did have to use 2 Psychics on Alakazam instead of 1 Surf, since Alakazam disabled Surf so I couldn't use it, but due to my setup with Calm Mind, Rival 6 cannot damage me at all, basically, and I go past Rival 6 and head for the league with a time of 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 53 seconds. Heading to the final 5 trainers, Slowbro has around a 22-minute advantage since Cloyster had to grind to stand a chance at the league in routing, while Slowbro has Calm Mind and its great bulk didn't need any of that. Cloyster, despite having 180 base defense, having only 50 HP and 45 special defense means that unless the attacks are physical, Cloyster is super brittle. But let's see how the rest of the game goes for them. In Victory Road, Slowbro gets the rare candy while Cloyster skips it since it had enough training. At the Pokemon League, I heal at the center, buy some full restores, and take on the final 5 trainers. Let's do this shit. On Lorelei, return Oko's the Dewgong thanks to a critical hit, and out comes Cloyster. Due to Cloyster's low special defense, I try to use Surf on Lorelei's Cloyster, but she keeps using full restores, and after a while the AI switches out Cloyster for Lapras, whose ability, Water Absorb, completely negates Surf's damage. I switch to using Return, but I get confused. I hit back with Return, then I hit myself, and then the confusion wears off and I defeat it. Cloyster comes back out and I get rid of it. Now for Slowbro. The plan here is to spam Return for the 3-hit, but Slowbro uses a full restore, and then my health gets too low, and then it knocks me out. On the next attempt, I make it back to Slowbro with near full health, and I have way better luck against the Slowbro. And then Jinx goes down with 1 return due to its low defense. And then Lapras gets into red health. I live on 4 HP, and I KO it with return. Holy cow, that was rough. Now for Bruno. I set up Rain Dance on the Onix to guarantee the sweep against Bruno's Pokemon, along with holding the Mystic Water to prevent a range on his Hitmonchan. But despite Rock Tomb lowering my speed, I still outspeed everything, and I win the battle first try. On Agatha, I equip the Lumberry you can pick up just outside of the league, and then I set up Rain Dance on Gengar, and it uses Confuse Ray, but the Lumberry heals me right up, and now begins the Surf Sweep. As long as the rain is up, everything is a 1-hit, even her second Gengar. The rain does stop on Haunter, but come on, it's a Haunter. What am I supposed to fear from this thing? On Lance, since I did the work of getting Ice Beam since Aurora Beam will not KO any of his dragons, I found that out during my race with Steve M Plays on the channel. With the more powerful Ice Beam, this fight is absolutely trivial. Now for the champion. He starts off with the worst form of his Pidgeot. It has Sand Attack, Feather Dance, and Whirlwind, so this thing is very bad to set up on. But Cloyster has no setup move, so that's not worth worrying about. Pidgeot goes down in 1 Ice Beam. I level up to a nice level, and then I take out the following Rhydon and Exeggutor. On Alakazam, Return leaves Alakazam on literally 1 HP, and then it heals. Return is a range though, so I do take it out eventually. On Gyarados, I have to use Rest to recover my HP, and I have to take it out with Return. But Gyarados is super strong, and I have to use Rest several times in order to live on Charizard, which I do on 54 HP left. And without Rain Dance and just the Mystic Water, Surf takes out the Charizard in 1 hit, and Cloyster defeats the champion with a real time of 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 43 seconds, with 9 resets at level 69, and a game time at the Hall of Fame of 4 hours and 3 minutes. Now, let's see how Slowbro does in the league, and then we can deliver the post-run analysis and move on to our bonus segment. On Lorelei, I use Dewgong to set up Calm Mind. After setting up 4 of them, I begin the sweep. Dewgong goes down in 1 Psychic, as does Lapras, but it does outspeed me and paralyze with Body Slam, but I do have Rest, so I can use that to recover the paralysis as well as the speed drop, and then I make it to her Slowbro. It is bulk versus bulk, but my bulk is superior and I take her out and her final Jinx. Now for Bruno. Since Slowbro is literally slower than everything on Bruno's team, Rock Tomb isn't a big deal to me, so I set up on Onix while it goes for Earthquake. In Gen 3, the AI counts Rock Tomb as speed control, so the AI, if you're faster, will prioritize speed control, which is why Onix didn't use Rock Tomb. I still have to be careful for the rest of the fight due to being slow, but I get a bit too greedy, and I should have healed on the second Onix since the Machamp knocks me out with Cross Chop. On the next Bruno battle, I get to Machamp at good health, and it goes for Bulk Up since it detected that Cross Chop would have been a range to KO, so I move on to Agatha. Calm Mind plus Stab Psychic equals massive stonks. Even if her Gengar becomes a pain in the ass with Double Team, but once I'm able to hit through evasion tactics, I can use Rest on Golbat and then be safe and sound for the rest of the battle. Although Haunter had a chance to defeat me after using a hypnosis, but it just goes for Mean Look and then uses Curse, and then I wake up and defeat it with Psychic. I guess Curse could have been pretty bad if I didn't wake up in time, but oh well, we're moving on to Lance. Before Lance, I use all my rare candies to get to level 59. On Gyarados, I have to set up 6 Calm Minds since I didn't get Ice Beam for Slowbro, since with Calm Mind, Psychic will be able to KO Lance's Dragon Pokemon. Once I get fully set up, Psychic and Surf do great damage to all of Lance's Pokemon. And finally, I'm moving on to the champion. On Pidgeot, I use Surf to deal half of its health, and then on the second turn it switches to Exeggutor. I was not expecting that at all, and that thing has Giga Drain, so I reset right away. On the second battle, Pidgeot does the same thing again, but I decided to play the fight out. It puts me to sleep with Sleep Powder right away, and I was getting pretty concerned, but I wake up really quick and I defeat it with a critical hit Surf. Good thing I had the Chesto Berry here. This was supposed to be used for the Resto Chesto strat, but oh well, it doesn't even matter as Gyarados delivers the decisive knockout to Slowbro. On the third battle, Pidgeot stays in battle the entire time, and then out comes Gyarados. Now I'm going to set up Calm Mind. I have to frequently use Rest since Gyarados can deal massive damage to Slowbro thanks to Dragon Rage. Once I'm set up with 6 Dragon Rages, Slowbro begins the kill count. Gyarados goes down, as does Exeggutor after it misses Sleep Powder, and then Alakazam once Slowbro wakes up from its beauty nap, and then Rhydon and Charizard are pulverized, and Slowbro gets a final time of 1 hour, 16 minutes, and 35 seconds, with 8 resets at level 61, and a game time at the Hall of Fame of 3 hours and 16 minutes. Slowbro did better than Cloyster in every aspect. Less real time, lower level, and less resets. Slowbro's bulk, allowing it to fully utilize Rest, and having great stats, was able to speed through the game despite having lower speed than almost everyone else. If Cloyster had more HP and more special defense, it could have put up a fight, but for now, Slowbro is the winner of this race, and Slowbro gets first place among all Pokemon in Pokemon Leafgreen, beating Chimecho, and then Cloyster is third place behind Chimecho. Chimecho is still better than Cloyster. But we're not done yet. It is time for our Pokemon Leafgreen bonus content. We're going to be rematching the Elite Four all over again, unrouted. This part is just for fun. Doing this though involves catching 60 Pokemon to fully complete the Sevi Island side quest, so I caught 60 Pokemon legitimately with PK Hex, and then I do about 20 minutes of the post-game Sevi Island side quest crap, which is basically saving Lost Hell from a Hypno in the Berry Forest, and then getting the Ruby from Mount Ember to give to Celio, as well as going on a wild goose chase with a scientist in Team Rocket to get the Sapphire. Once both of those items are obtained, I head back to Kanto and go around the region to get some items, including the item finder to get the buried leftovers where the Snorlax were sleeping, and then I get some more PP restoring items. I then withdrew my 50 rare candies from the PC. I hacked these in at the start of the run, but I saved them for the second round. Since the bonus segment isn't counted in the results of a Pokemon, I allow myself to do this to speed up production. Now, let's go do this shit all over again. Let's start with the underdog, Cloyster. Lorelei sends out Dewgong. I use Return on it like before, but now Dewgong has Double Team, so this is going to be quite annoying. But once I finally knock it out, I'm at 12 hit points left, so I use Rest on Pillow-Swine, and since most of its moves are physical, I wake up with more HP than I started with, so I move on with Yellow Health. On Lapras, I get a crit return, but then Lapras defeats me with Thunder. There was no way Cloyster could win at this level, especially with that move. So I use some more rare candies to get to level 78 over several damage rounding thresholds, and I try again. The Dewgong goes down in 3 hits, and then Pillow-Swine goes down with 1 Surf. On Lapras, I deal slightly under half, and Lapras KOs me with Thunder. This level will not work either. I need to be able to 2-hit the Lapras or survive a Thunder. So I arrive back to Lapras, and this time I survive a Thunder with 21 hit points, but I get paralyzed. Dang it. Okay Lapras, here I am again. You're going to go down whether you like it or not. I get a crit with return, and I survive Thunder with 3 hit points, but Lapras is in full restore range and it heals up and defeats me with Surf. This is starting to get annoying. I should have just used some candies to be able to 2-hit Lapras, but I guess I was being too stubborn. I lose to this fight again, and then I finally decide through my thick skull to use 10 rare candies to level 88. This should definitely put Lapras at a 2-hit range. When I get back to Lapras at this level, return is finally a 2-hit, and I survive Thunder with yellow health, and then I use Surf on the Cloyster. But it lives. I don't know how, but the next Surf gets to it, luckily. Jinx is a 1-hit like last time, and now it's time for Bruno. He sends out his first Steelix. I equip the Mystic Water for this fight, and Steelix goes down in 1 Surf. The Hitmonchan lives in Red Bar sadly, but luckily it doesn't have Rock Tomb, so no speed control nonsense today. Although I get in low yellow health, I'm able to survive Bruno's physical attacks, and I move on to Agatha. I equip the Lumberry I got from Route 7, and Agatha sends out her first Gengar. I use 1 Surf and it actually KOs it. That actually surprised me. I did not expect that at all. Mischievous is just bad, and I take it out with Surf. Arbok actually does take 2 hits to KO me, but once I'm past it, Agatha's second Gengar does tank a Surf and deals massive damage to me, but I survive and move on to her final Pokemon, Crobat. Due to my higher level needed for Lorelei's Lapras, I outspeed and KO with Ice Beam. Speaking of Ice Beam, this move will make Lance trivial yet again. Even though he has Gyarados as a lead, it only has physical moves, so no threat at all. Ancient Power is a physical move in Gen 3, so Aerodactyl's super effective moves won't be a threat. But I do get greedy like I did with Slowbro, and I didn't use Rest to recover my paralysis from Gyarados, and I get knocked out. On the next attempt, I get to Aerodactyl and use Rest to get rid of the paralysis. But Lance's second weaker Dragonite, I used Rest due to my low HP, but I should have healed on Kingdra instead, as this Dragonite has tons of special moves and I get KO'd yet again. That's just irritating how Cloyster's lack of bulk makes Rest very risky to use. But this time on Kingdra, I use an Ice Beam and I actually get a Freeze. So that's a bit of good luck after having quite a bit of bad luck, but hey, we can now defeat the champion one last time. On the champion, his lead Pokemon Heracross can be quite bad with Counter and Rock Tomb, especially if I'm faster or I plan on using physical moves, which luckily Cloyster has special moves, but I am faster, so I'll need to be aware of that. But I am faster, so I have to hope I can outspeed everything even with 1 Rock Tomb. On turn 1, I use an Ice Beam and it deals 2/3 damage, but my speed is lowered by 1 stage, and now comes out Tyranitar, which goes down in 1 hit. Exeggutor is next. Ice Beam does the job. Alakazam now comes out. It uses 1 Calm Mind, and I'm actually able to KO it with return. I don't know if the Sandstorm chip damage from Tyranitar helped in that aspect, but it doesn't matter, since Tyranitar's Sandstream will guarantee a Sandstorm. Also, there is no Sandstorm weather showing right now, since that spot in the game's RAM that shows the battle weather, it apparently has a different bite for a Sandstorm caused by Sandstream, and rather than a Sandstorm caused by Sandstorm, the move, so I'll need to fix that when I get the chance. Anyway, Gyarados has been a pain for Cloyster this entire run. I used Ice Beam on it to hope for a freeze, and I don't get it. But Gyarados is a 2-hit with it, so I'm still fine. I then get outspeed by Charizard. It uses Fire Blast, but it misses, and I knock out the Charizard, and now, Cloyster has beaten Pokemon Leafgreen in both Round 1 and Round 2 without being level 100. I consider that an accomplishment for this game, especially the second round. But the video's not over yet, we have a race to do, so let's see how Slowbro does. Slowbro enters Lorelei's chamber at level 65, which is probably too low. but with setup moves, we'll see. I set up Calm Mind on Dewgong, but then I realized Dewgong has Signal Beam, a bug type move, so it can deal super effective damage to me. Plus it has Double Team, but this is still a safe Pokemon to set up on compared to everything else. Once I'm set up, I land a Psychic and then defeat everything else on her team with a mixture of Surf and Psychic. I still have to frequently rest since Slowbro is still slower than everything and can take tons of damage, but due to tons of setup and bulk, I win the fight on the first try. On Bruno, I begin setting up Calm Mind and it uses Rock Tomb to lower my speed, which normally wouldn't matter, but Steelix gives me a critical hit and then his second Steelix causes a reset. On the next attempt, I decide to use Surf on the two Steelix right away, and then Hitmonlee goes down to Psychic. And then I use Calm Mind one more time on Hitmonchan, and then take it down with Psychic, but it was doing too much damage to me, so rest was definitely needed. But once it finally goes down, Machamp cannot deal enough damage to me, and I'm moving on to Agatha. Agatha puts me to sleep right away, and I reset right away. I don't know why I didn't get the Lumberry on Route 7 here like I did with Cloyster, but oh well, it's too late to go back now. When I make it to Crobat after waking up from Gengar's sleep quickly, I get to Arbok just to be taken out with Giga Drain. Okay, I'm gonna have to reset until Hypnosis misses, which is a 40% chance to happen. Or I guess 40% for me, 5% for the opponent. But luckily, 13 resets in, Hypnosis misses, and I get to the Crobat with the only damage I take being a non-stab Shadow Ball from the Crobat. And then on Arbok, it poisons me, but my Pecha Berry recovers it, and then I take Arbok down in one hit. But then I realized her second Gengar has Thunderbolt, so that's the end of me. I'm gonna skip ahead a couple of battles. 15 resets in, I get to her Arbok, and set up Calm Mind to survive a Thunderbolt. Once I finally take it out and get to Gengar, it realized that Shadow Ball would deal more damage than Thunderbolt at this point, so it goes for it. I survive, and then I defeat her second Gengar and move on to Lance. Oh right, I forgot Mischievous. It outspeeds me and defeats me with Thunderbolt. You son of a bitch! On the next attempt, I make sure to use Rest on Gengar, but it deals so much damage to me, I arrive at Mischievous at 3 hit points left, and the same scenario happens as before. Now's the time for my emergency rare candies. I re-enter the fight at level 73 to see if this will increase my chances of getting past this fight. Back to her second Gengar at 19 resets in, it deals too much damage to me, allowing Mischievous to get the final blow with Shadow Ball. This is so stupid, since when is Mischievous the hardest obstacle for me to get past? At level 80, I arrive back at the second Gengar after setting up Calm Mind. I use Rest on Gengar to recover as much HP as possible, and I get back to Mischievous at 75 HP. Will it be enough? It is. I live on 13 hit points left, and I get past Mischievous. Holy fuck, that took way too long. Now for Lance, which will be a breath of fresh air compared to this fight. I equip the Cherry Berry to prepare for Gyarados' Thunder Wave, and then I start by using 2 Psychics to get rid of it ASAP. On Dragonite, I begin setting up Calm Mind. Dragonite's best move against me, Thunderbolt, will be dealing less and less damage as I set up. But Thunderbolt's still dealing a lot, so I can only set up once or twice before using Rest again. But once again, I get an unlucky crit and Hyper Beam finishes me off. Next attempt, I just use 2 Calm Minds on Gyarados and begin the sweep. Gyarados and Dragonite both go down in one hit, so I guess all those Calm Minds before were not necessary at all, as just 2 was enough. Kingdra decided to waste its time with a Dragon Dance, and I defeat it without taking damage. And then Aerodactyl has nothing good against me, and I can finally move on to the champion. One last time, for Slowbro at least. On the Heracross, it too hits me with Mega Horn. I decide to use some more rare candies to level 85 and come back to this fight. I do not want Mega Horn to be a 2-hit KO. On the next battle, I use Psychic right away. Heracross still does more than half damage to me, but at least I knock it out. Now for Alakazam. This is my time to use Rest and begin my setup. Alakazam's special moves will be doing hardly anything, even though we're both setting up Calm Minds at the same time. It does have Shadow Ball, but all Ghost moves are physical in Gen 3, so it being on Alakazam is not a good idea at all. Eventually I defeat Alakazam, and then I one-hit KO his Tyranitar and Exeggutor. On Gyarados, I use Rest to recover more HP to prepare for the Charizard, and when I wake up, Gyarados goes down to Psychic, and then Charizard goes down to a single Surf, and Slowbro has defeated the second round of the Pokemon League. In my opinion here, I think Cloyster did a better job since it was able to outspeed everything. I know Cloyster had to be a higher level, but that was due to a single Lapras with Thunder, while Slowbro was slower than everything and has to hope for no critical hits as it sets up with Calm Mind and Heal with Rest. But the results of the leaderboard will remain as is. I hope y'all enjoyed the versus video between two of Lorelei's main Pokemon. The rest of the month of January will be me getting out the Pokemon 386 Speedrun Challenge redos with the modern speedrun analysis rule set out to all of you. The first redo I'll be releasing this month will be Meryl. Plus be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see the other ones, such as Togetic, Shroomish, Parasect, Shedinja, Wobbuffet, Flygon, and Houndoom. The legendaries that I still need to redo, such as Mew vs Celebi, will be done at 800 subs, and then Raikou, Entei, and Suicune will be redone at 1000. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next speedrun.